Hello beautiful people, welcome to your practical application of astrology, and this one really is going to be probably mostly a personal story share. So as we have the energetical weather going on right now at the moment and my chart is on fire, literally, I decided to make this quite personal. So I'm just letting everybody know so you can make your discerned decision, because this is going to be technically me giving you my life story, and a lot of that could be quite triggering for people. So I'm just putting it out there. I don't know exactly what everything will want to come out, but I really feel with this 29 degrees 59 minutes of Pluto in Capricorn at the time of me recording this, and Moon trine in my south node, and Sun just conjuncted my Saturn and is about to oppose my Mars, and Mercury just conjuncted my Uranus. And I'm not gonna bore you with all the activations I have going on in my chart, but it's technically insane. I feel called to do this. I don't know if this is going to be much of a value to someone else, other than me recalling the story one more time and leaving it in the past. Because this is what I feel that we are all called to do, and I'm here to be the example, I suppose, to be the pioneer perhaps, to let the old story of who we were behind, because it's not who we are and it's not who we are going to be becoming. And this is what I really feel called to do with this Pluto on 29 degrees 59 minutes. By the time this video will be uploaded on YouTube, Pluto will be already in the sign of Aquarius. I pressed record at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here in Mexico, and it takes some time for the video to process. So yeah, Pluto is going to move into the sign of Aquarius, I believe, in 3.5 hours. I believe it's at 2:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I could be wrong. I could, be 1 hour off, because I'm still going on my European Central, like Eastern European ephemeris, and I'm just calculating in my head, and my math is not always the greatest. But anyway, without boring you about all of this, already 2 minutes boring you, I'm just going to dive in. But first of all, I really want to open this space and call in on my higher self, my spirit guides, my ancestors, my angelic team, my starseed family, ascended masters, especially Kali Ma, my dragon, to be present for this recording, Merlin as one of my main guides, and all the beings of light that wish to be present for me to deliver this message, which I'm sure is not gonna be easy. I can feel it already, but I feel it needs to be done, if not for anybody else other than just myself, to release myself from the story of the past and allow for the new to come through. And so it is, and so it be. Thank you everyone for being here. I might have my eyes closed for probably a big part of this, because what I'm going to talk about is not necessarily easy for me. I shared a lot of aspects of my life in my previous videos, especially in my practical application of astrology, but Spirit is really inviting me to go deep, especially as we are culminating this Scorpio season, which for me personally has been incredibly hard, challenging. Let's just switch the words. Challenging. It's been a learning curve, and I know that this is the precursor. This is the first flavor of what am I going to be experiencing, as I have my Pluto square Pluto coming up, which I'm going to be experiencing exact 5 times, not just the usual 3 times, 5 times. And so I will be experiencing Pluto conjuncting my ascendant 5 times, and then subsequently Pluto will be squaring my sun. So anyway, I know that this is something that I chosen in my soul contract, and it's something that has to be done, being Aquarius rising. And I'm going to get to my current ascendant in a progress chart throughout this share. So let's just begin. So yeah, as many of you might be aware, just from hearing me, I was born in Eastern Europe, still during the time of communism. It was actually still Czechoslovakia when I was born. And yeah, many people from Eastern Europe might remember the suppression and oppression of that time. I don't remember much of it because I was very small, but I was born into the family that was incredibly suppressed, incredibly emotionally withdrawn, I suppose. I'm the oldest of 4 children. Already when I was 1 year old, my parents pretty much gave me to my grandparents because my brother was born when I was a year and a half. And then, each year there was a baby. So by the time I was 4, I had, no, by the time I was 3, I had 2 siblings. So anyway, this is quite inconsequential, but what I really want to say with regards to my childhood, I experience all of it. It's not any easier or better or worse than what other people experience, because I know majority of people on this planet experience some sort of abuse, because this is what we heal in. This is what we came here to heal. This is what we came here to clear. Everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has a story to share. I've experienced every single type of abuse in my childhood. I used to be a very emotional child, having a moon in Cancer, still on the Cancerian decan, and that got all shut down because I remember when I was a small child, I would just cry all the time. Everything felt unfair to me with regards to this world. I always felt I didn't belong here, didn't fit in here, and I was being laughed at, especially my dad, my greatest teacher. Like he said that he was going to put me into karate classes or something like that, some kind of martial art, and he said that he couldn't do it because through learning these, I guess, steps of becoming good at these things, you get thrown around quite a lot, right? And he said that he would be embarrassed because I would probably start crying every single time. So that was it. So eventually, through everything that I experienced, and also there was a lot of alcoholism in my family, including my father, and just the usual Eastern European background of communist and post-communist era. And eventually I just shut down. I just desensitized from all of that to go through life, which became my complete mechanism. And then throughout teenagehood, I technically just bypassed my life by reading books, just going from one book to another, and that's what kept me alive, because I always wanted to know how the book is going to end. So I just always started reading the next one. As soon as I finished one, even if it was late at night, I had to at least read the first few pages of the next book to give me a reason to wake up the next morning, to want to know what was going to happen. And of course, the initial literature I was choosing was this completely trashy, romantic, historical novels and stuff, which is something I shared with my mother. That was her form of escapism, still is. So throughout my teenagehood, I experienced eating disorder. Like I said, technically I bypassed my entire teenagehood by reading books, from one book to another, which technically lasted until 2020, when I had my awakening. This is how I gone through life. And I can't really tell you much about my teenagehood. I do have some memories of my childhood, which again, I'm sure that I remember wrong, because that's what happens with memories. We don't always remember them accurately, especially because I was a child when they happened, and my memory as a child is different to my perception of reality as an adult. But it's interesting that I deleted majority of my memories from my teenagehood. I remember very little. When my parents recall situations that took place when I was a teenager, it's like they're talking about someone completely different. I have no idea what they're talking about. I literally just have a blank. It was so painful for me, that period of my life, that I just deleted it. I just completely deleted it. And then, when I was 19 years old, I left and I went to England. And I started attracting all these people into my life, particularly men, that just reinforced the same sense of unworthiness. I was very disrespectful towards myself and my body, especially in my early 20s. Just perpetuating the same suffering, the same wounding. I have a South Node in Scorpio, which, as I mentioned, right now, I might have not mentioned that, but right now, as I'm recording this, is being exactly trine by Moon in Cancer. And I just had the lunar return yesterday, so my moon is in a new phase with my natal moon. well, the moon in the sky is in the new phase with my natal moon. And yeah, right now, as I'm recording this, it's trine in my south node exact on 18 degrees of Scorpio. And as I mentioned, with all the everything else that's going on there with the Scorpio and Sun and everything else that Mercury and Jupiter is doing Jupiter trine in my Jupiter and Mercury sitting on my Uranus and stuff like that. So anyway, so eventually until I was 2008 is when I met my first like a kind of serious boyfriend. I was 23 years old. So yeah, so the first 4 years in England, it was just it was just me attracting the people into my life that I had to learn lessons from, which obviously continued to be the story and still is until this day. But yeah, in 2003, I met this person that actually treated me fairly nicely, and I decided to move away from London, which is where I was for 4 years. And yeah, and this is where things started changing slightly for me, even though that person and I were completely incompatible, but we still stuck with it for 2 years, which was the longest relationship of my life to this date. And yeah, and that was a great learning curve with regards to me for the first time in my life to say no to things, because I was actually the one that terminated the relationship and walked away. And yeah, and then there was more learning curves and stuff like that, which is not really relevant so much. It's 11:11 right now. But yeah, things started again changing quite rapidly for me in 2012, post me giving up my Slovakian citizenship after I got British one, because at the time Slovakia did not allow dual. And then I got a job on a cruise ship. So I build up on this escapism through books to escapism through the life on the cruise ship and ocean life. But on the other side, this traveling, because of my Pluto in 9th house, really opened a new horizons for me. And this is, I guess, this was my first step towards self-empowerment and still attracting completely dysfunctional relational dynamics into my life. But there was an aspect of me that started growing and, in a sense, I guess, developing, exploring. And yeah, and what I did not realize, because no clue at the time, in 2016, which, if I remember correctly, and this again, memory might be elusive for me at certain stages in my life, but this was a time where I fell in love with someone who actually reciprocated my feelings, but was unavailable because he was married. And this was the one and only person that I ever got involved with who was married, because even I have, even though I am not really going by societal rules, but I do have a rule about this one, but things just happen. But anyway, so there was a very short period of time when when this was happening in my life. And it was very interesting because, again, this was like, I guess, perhaps first time where like somebody made me feel worthy, but they were still unavailable, obviously. And what I didn't realize, and again, I can't tell you the exact timing, like if it was exactly happening at the same time or not, but what I did not realize is that I just checked it literally today, on June 10th, 2016, which for me was the personal year number 3, and it was then year number 7, which we know is associated with Neptune. 3 is the Jupiter, is about expansion and growth. Empress in Tarot. 7 is the Chariot, right, which represents Cancer. My chart got reset, my progress chart. So I'm going to go a little bit into astrology here. I am Aquarius rising, very early degree. So logically thinking, because I'm 39, I'm going to be 40 in April. Logically thinking, I should be Pisces rising on my progress ascendant. However, for reasons I can't explain because I don't understand it, on June 10th, 2016, my progress chart reset to 0 degrees in Aries, and every single one of my cardinal houses were in a cardinal sign on 0 degrees, 0 minutes on June 10th, 2016. And my Venus, as the ruler of my North Node, even though my North Node is intercepted, ruled by Mars by the house rulership, my Venus was on 0 degrees of Virgo in my 6th house, which was about healing. And I think this was perhaps the first, like a big slap in the face, that, you know, things have to kind of change over here. And yeah, and then it seems to me, from looking back at my life and the men that, you know, like were playing certain smaller or bigger role, it always happened when there was this even number, you know, 2016. Then in 2018, I met someone who again, you know, like hurt me, and then crystals came into my life, you know, like started being more spiritual. Actually, the book Secret came into my life right before I got the job at the cruise ships. That's how I manifested it. Completely, like we know, the book Secret is kind of like not fully accurate, but it helped me at that time. It was the level of consciousness I was at, and I was able to tap into that. So anyway, going back to this 2016, 2018, then 2020, that was my grand awakening when me and my former ex 3 times ago, our path crossed, and I knew that this was not really person that I was normally attracted to. And I even post that, like, thinking back, like, you know, like I can't, I don't believe, like, I don't know what was so attractive about this person for me, because we are, again, like not really compatible. But anyway, there was a soul contract, and this person had a role to play in my life, which was to red pill me, and the rest is the history. 2020 was when astrology entered my life, and everything just started shifting very rapidly for me. And then 2022 is when my twin flame entered my life and exited it. And now 2024 is when my soulmate entered my life and currently exited it. So it seems like all these even numbers, and I really do hope to break this pattern soon, as it is this 2025, the year number 9, the year of culmination. So, okay, so this is kind of like, you know, a rough script, you know, of what took place over there. But like what I really want to bring out of this source, you know, of this story that probably is boring people listening to, was that because of what I went through as a child, which, you know, even to recent date, I was still blaming my parents for, until I was very fortunate to come across material and advice from my friend that allowed me to see it from a very different perspective, which actually allowed me to understand things on a deeper level. Because of course I understand things on a logical level, spiritual level and stuff, but on a somatic level and the wounding level of my inner child, there was still a resentment. There was still this sense like entitlement in a way, because I felt like, you know, this wounded aspect of me felt like you owe me because you did this to me. But now obviously understanding things differently, thanks to the resources that I was very fortunate to be given, or that came my way in the past few weeks since I've been here, especially, I understand things very differently now, and I can now hold the gratitude. Because yeah, we can say like, oh, you should be grateful, you know, gratitude, you know, and stuff like that. And I always felt so resentful to people telling me that, because to me, from my humble personal perspective of an experience that I lived, of the story that my ego is attached to say to someone to be grateful for being abused is an abuse. If somebody tells you, well, you should be grateful that happened to you, you know, that's an abuse. So until that person has that inner standing and can embody the inner standing, which I couldn't until very recently, and it's still a work in progress with regards to my parents and the role that they played in my life, that I gave them and they agreed to. And from the soul perspective, there is also an understanding that the people that hurt you the most in this physical reality are the souls that love you the most. Because if somebody has to screw you over, then let it be people who actually care about souls from your, you know, like up there, that care about you. But until I actually embodied that knowing, that knowledge, that I can actually feel it in my heart, it was still an abuse for someone to tell me I should be grateful for it, right? Even though I logically understand it and I could spiritual bypass it and stuff. But, you know, like, be ready when we're ready. Be ready to forgive when we're ready to forgive. Not a moment sooner, even if somebody tells you you should do it. If you're not ready, you're not ready. But anyway, going back to this, like what I was trying to bring forward through this sad story was that because of everything that I went through, I created this wall around myself, which was my coping mechanism. Some people become the very super sensitive empath when they walk on the eggshells around everyone and just people please all the time and stuff. So this is how they cope with their trauma, that they create this extreme. And yet people can get really mad at me right now for saying this, because people are, well, I'm an empath, you know, I can't help myself. But actually, if you look back at your childhood and why you became so overly sensitive, and some people are born, I was born sensitive, I was born very sensitive child, and I didn't have to, but my coping mechanism of survival was to shut it down because I couldn't cope. So for some people, they become so sensitive that they try to accommodate everybody else's needs in order to, in a sense, like guess forward, you know, like pre-guess what's gonna be happening. You know, they tune into everybody's feelings and emotions and try to accommodate other people's feelings and emotions so they feel safe, right? So I chose the other extreme. I chose to shut down. And coming from an environment of people who every single one of them had completely dysfunctional relationships, including my parents, I never had the example, and this is again, it's not to sound like a sad story or a victim of something, because this is the case for majority of people. And that's why I'm just coming forward with my story to validate you and your experience, to help you understand that we all in this together, we all healing the same stuff that is unresolved from the past. And I get to this, where am I going with all of this in a moment. So that's what I mean, you know, like when I was growing up, in the environment I was growing up, the environment of broken souls, the environment of people that suppressed themselves to the degree where they couldn't give anymore because they didn't have it in them. Their parents didn't have it in them. And this is where we go back, you know, these thousands of years ago of suppression and, you know, the suffering of the soul, because the soul had to be disconnected from its values, needs, purpose, and it was all about bloody survival, right? So being born into family like this, which is just all about survival, you know, and, you know, people coping with the reality the way they know how. My mom escaping into books, dad being an alcoholic, you know, stuff like that, you know, beating us, you know, when we didn't do exactly what we were being told straight away and stuff like that. So anyway, so I shut down emotionally, and I actually, like I said, you know, like I attracted people who also were shut down, that were emotionally unavailable, like majority of my life and majority of my relationships, because these people were either matching my wounds or triggering these wounds to help me to see what needed healing. And I had a certain level of understanding of this, but I really understand this now since my last, since the last person that I met. So yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that with this Aquarian age that we are fully entering into with this Pluto in Aquarius, which is taking place in a few hours' time from me recording this, this is the story that we are all invited to leave behind. We just had the first of the 3 oppositions between Jupiter and Mercury yesterday. We'll have 2 more, and we just having first trine between Mercury and Chiron today, which will have also 2 more. And at the end of the week, we'll have a first trine between Mars and the North Node, which will also have a 2 more. So there are all these triples, you know, all these 3 times lucky, you know, like planets going forward, backward, you know, one or the other or both. And then they meet again, you know, where majority of them is direct, both partners being direct apart from Jupiter, because Jupiter is still retrograde, the time when Mercury will make the 3rd opposition to Jupiter, because Jupiter is retrograde until February. So anyway, so why am I even recalling this story? Because again, this is a story which I wish to leave behind. I do not wish to be experiencing this story anymore, because I know this is not who I am. This is the family, this is the circumstances, this is the environment. Every single person in my life that I attracted was a teacher to help me to understand something, to learn something, to see something, because this is all the Libra, right? These people are mirror to show you, to reflect, to mirror it to you, or project onto you if you have a problem with boundaries and you need to learn to put boundaries out there and stuff. And I had to learn boundaries hard way, because there is no such a thing in my family as boundaries. Everybody just interferes with everybody else's business, and they feel entitled to do so because of the enmeshment and as again codependency and all the rest of it. So again, going back to this relationship, because this is the main topic and I explain why, you know, this is such an obsession of mine recently. I had never experienced healthy example of relationships in my life, you know. I mean, at least not growing up, okay? I have seen some, at least, you know, in a digital world, which you never know if it's the truth, but some healthier versions of relationships of some of my friends who obviously are going through healing, both partners, and they represent this different way of relating. But especially the generation that I observe as adult, as a child growing up, I did not see a single healthy relationship around me. So at that young age, I can't tell you which, but you know, very early on, I was being reminded by, unfortunately, my uncle who passed away 2 years ago, but at the time he was, you know, very healthy, well, alive and kicking. He was the philosopher in the family. And he asked me something about marriage, and I don't remember this. This is just like him reminded me when I was a teenager that how I took his breath away because I was a small girl. I don't remember how old, maybe 7, 8 years old. And he asked me something about marriage and stuff. And I said to him, I will never get married because I don't want to be somebody's property. And I was a small, and he said that he was like, what did you just say? Where did this come from? Because this is what I observed. Like for me, relationships were in my subconscious mind and the program of my being, my human ego, relationships were always connected to sacrifice, suffering, unhappiness, luck, you know, and all this fighting and violence and abuse and stuff. This was relationships for me. This is all I knew about relationship. Never experienced any other relationships. And also I have a memory of being a child going to like a summer camp, and there was something. Was it? It might have been not that memory. I don't know, but there was a memory of somebody asking me something about my parents, and I said my parents didn't love me, and they said that. What do you mean? Of course they love you. You know, like they take care of you. And I'm like, oh yeah, they give me food and clothes, and I have a place to sleep, but they don't really love me. And again, I have the memory of this as a small child telling someone in either kindergarten or primary school, and I don't even know what was the situation, circumstances, but I felt so unloved. I felt so unlovable, and that was because the people who brought me into this world, they also don't know how to, you know, they didn't know. They did their best, you know. My mother got married when she was 2 days post her 20th birthday. So she waited not to be a teenager anymore, and I was born less than a year later. So she was a child herself. I can't even remember. My mom was 40, and, you know, like I can't even imagine, you know, my mother getting married when she was 2 days older than 19 years old, you know, 20 years old, just, you know, like literally it's crazy. So they didn't know any better. But again, you know, until we embodied that understanding, the inner standing of these kind of things, there is still that wounded inner child that holds a resentment and says, not my problem, you know, you chose to have a child at 20 to 20, 21, whatever, you know. So there was all these things, and technically this is what created this dysfunctional, distorted lens that I carried and look at life through my entire life, which brings me to the age of almost 40 years old, and I never had a single healthy relationship in my life, never been married, never wanted kids, because I was like, no thanks, you know. And now I'm getting to the point of my life where again, didn't realize that until literally recently, because this is the funniest thing and I'm not saying everybody's like that, this is me. About astrologers, I don't look at my chart, you know. I have looked now because so much stuff is happening. I'm like, what the hell, you know? But I don't go looking at my chart every day, tracking my transits and tracking my lunar returns and whatever, like no clue what's going on up there, right? So I didn't actually put 2 and 2 together to, you know, and also you know, going back to this Aries rising since 2016, which is astrologically impossible. I'm not even 40. I have ascendant on 4 degrees of Aquarius. How can I be 17 degrees of Aries rising progress chart? Like, people who are decades older than I are still just in a next sign from the one that they were born into. Like, and this is where I guess I need to give my ego human self some credit that, well, you've gone a long way. You were born into lemons and you made some lemonade out of that or whatever, just to like give I guess our journey some respect. That, yeah, everything you've gone through, it held a meaning and a purpose and is pushing you forward. So being Aries rising on 17 degrees now actually puts my Pluto in a 7th house, because I'm an early Scorpio, which is crazy. And this is why I have such an obsession with relationships right now, because Pluto is like your, soul's desire. My natal Pluto is 9th house, which is like, yeah, we need to figure out what the hell is the truth here. And, traveling helped me to understand that, especially, once I started spending less and less time in Slovakia. But, yeah, but now with regards to everything that's going on in our micro and macrocosm, with Pluto moving into the sign of Aquarius shortly, and Moon being in a sign of Cancer, which this is the Scorpionic decan, which is about you need to step into your power. Mars, as we know, is going to have his retrograde into the sign of Cancer from January until April. We are letting go of these old identities. We are letting go of these old stories, with Jupiter retrograde in opposition with Mercury, soon to be retrograde, having a mutual reception. So all these things, all these topics, all these stories that created our identity, our sense of who we are coming up to the surface and needs to be healed and released. So like I said, a big topic of my life is my parents, like my relationship with my parents, and being the indigo, being the black sheep in my family, being so very different from everybody else, like being born into the family, very traditional family, Catholic, of course, with very traditional values. Everybody married, 3 to 4 kids, whatever, and then you have a child who is like the oldest. My sister is 10 years younger. She got married when she was 24, I think. And then, me, like the spinster, right? And kind of my parents like, oh my God, what's going to happen with you when we're not around anymore? And I'm like, same thing that's been happening with me since I was 19 years old and I left, But that's what I mean, that this is such a beautifully painful opportunity to heal this stuff, that we embodied, that we took onto ourselves, because none of this which I just said to you, which I just shared with you, is who I am. This is part of my story. And of course, I chose it with my free will over here, even though in many cases completely unconsciously, because completely unaware. Becoming more aware now, but still not aware of everything. And yeah, and this is where I have to really, I don't have to, but I do really feel so much more gratitude towards all these people, especially men, because, like as I said, my main teacher is my father. These distorted ideas I had about men, I had about relationships, feeling victimized. There was a stage in my life when I hated men and hated my father, hated men, and all the rest of it. And obviously we always attract what we are a frequency match to, in resonance with. And that's exactly what I attracted. Men that disrespected me, that made me to hate them even more. So that's what I mean. Like, the world outside of you will not change until you change. Because until we change, we're just going to keep attracting more of the same thing, of that unhealed stuff that lives within us, which, yes, is not yours. We all were born into the avatar that already holds this imprint of the human suffering, of the collective trauma. And we all worked on this, we all are working, it's a working process, on different aspects of this, in our own individual experience, unique experience, however this is showing up for you. But what I just share here, this is not a unique story, like any aspect of this story, probably majority of people can, resonate with and say, oh yeah, that happened to me, I experienced that, or something, or like, oh, you don't know what I experience. And this is, like, again, not about comparisitis, like, I know that some people experience much more things than I did, but obviously my soul chose whatever it needed to experience to trigger whatever I need to be healing and dealing with. So yeah, so now coming to this stage in my life when I'm approaching this first Pluto square, Pluto, the first one of 5. Pluto making sure, making sure the exchange coming, making sure. I didn't check the Neptune square, but of course there's gonna be at least 3 of them, but I don't know if there's gonna be 5. But yeah, the conjunction to ascendant is going to happen 5 times as well. So this is what I mean, with this, and moon in Capricorn currently. Yeah, it's just can't make this up. Yeah, I have the opportunity to take the responsibility, Capricorn. Venus just conjuncted my progress moon recently. Venus is the ruler of my north node. Take responsibility and say, yeah, if you want to have a different life, if you do want to have that soulmate relationship you so dying for, the community, these different kind of dynamics between you and other people, you need to make it happen within yourself through this healing, through this clearing, through this releasing, through this awareness. But and this is, again, people believe whatever they wish to believe, and I'm not in any way, and I should have put the disclaimer at the beginning of this speech, I'm no way saying that this should be your truth or you should agree with me or, anything. But I personally, I'm sharing what I believe at this present moment of time. I don't think it has to be so hard, I really don't believe so, because with everything that we have available to us, like with regards to the guidance and spirit help and the technology and all these different advanced modalities, which you can say are ancient, maybe yes, maybe not, who knows, but all of these things, all of these tools we have available, I don't think that it has to be such a grind, to like, oh yeah, heal all this ancestor stuff and past lives and this life and all that life and whatever life and everything, and it just sounds like such a hard work, but I really don't think it has to be so hard. I really think, as I mentioned before in previous videos, the first step towards it is the awareness. So even now, the more I'm becoming aware of these things and again, owning it, but at the same time processing all the emotions attached to it, allowing my inner child to be unhappy, upset, frustrated, angry, resentful, all the rest of it, and then trying to understand what is the core problem here, which is, of course, as it is with probably 90% of population on this planet, sense of unworthiness. And me being the Aquarian rebel, no, don't need a husband, don't need kids, don't even need a home, just being digital nomad, a gypsy, not belonging anywhere, just have to carry my stuff and leave the rest with my parents, and then feeling resentful that I have to go back there because all my stuff is there. Just being like a rebel for the sake of rebellion, especially in my, teenagehood and early 20s. And, now realizing that, well, but that was just the extreme too, because it was just like going against everything that's known just for the sake of it, going into the opposite extreme. But actually some of that is what I do want. I just decided, no, don't want it. No, this is what my family did all this time. And look at where it got them. Look at, how it worked out for them. Didn't really, did it? So anyway, so this is what I mean, this is the opportunity also with this full moon in Taurus. We had just less than a week ago. It was on Friday, right? We have the opportunity to reevaluate, what are my needs, what are my values, and going back to the core message, which I sidetracked, it's all about sense of unworthiness. So me being this Aquarius rising and being the rebel, all my life, feeling that, I obviously value myself because I don't want any of that. But actually, no, based on all the recent experiences, I actually realized that no, I don't. No, actually, all these confidence, that some people might perceive and stuff, this is all just part of that facade, part of that coping mechanism to protect, that which is wounded, inside, just like I said, with regards to relationship, don't let anybody too close, let's just choose these unavailable people, because then there is no risk that they will get too close, they will not hurt you. This is Pluto Scorpio thing, it's a little bit too intimate, a little bit too vulnerable. But actually recently in one meditation, which is so funny. You can listen to things 100 times and you will hear them different way each time you listen, depending where you're at on your journey. And this person in that meditation, and it was Milan Moritz, one of my favorite, she actually said that, when you keep your heart closed, you keep all the pain inside. Like we feel that when I keep my heart closed, then I'm protecting myself from the world. I created all these walls, all this like, no, I deserve better than this, I value myself, I love myself. So I created all these walls, right? But actually, no, because you keep in everything that needs healing, releasing, and letting go, including the pain, the trauma, all that stuff. You be keeping it trapped inside. And I never look at it that way. I just thought like, oh yeah, I understand if I'm keeping all the bad out there, I'm keeping all the good out there as well, but so be it, it's not worth it. I rather not have it than suffer, right? Which is why I chose not to, pursue that route of getting married, having children, and all the rest of it, because, children? Are you kidding? I don't want to be that vulnerable. There is nothing that makes women more vulnerable than children. Again, a story. Where did it come from? Very likely past lives, unhealed past lives where maybe my children were taken away or killed or or whatever whatever happened in order for somebody's agenda to get fulfilled, which was again this reminder that you are not worthy or you are not powerful and stuff, which I came here to heal for sure, being Pluto Scorpio, obviously, but we all came here to heal the sense of unworthiness. So again, like I never look at it from that perspective that yes, when I shut down my heart and protect myself from this entire world and convince myself that keeping myself so small, living in this tiny little cage of protection, where everything is safe, that I'm actually not allowing myself to heal, that I'm actually not allowing myself to expand, to go beyond. So hence why, especially this past 3 relationship, the first one very karmic with that ex that red pill me, which romantically it wasn't really a good idea, but but there was a role for him to play. Then my twin flame 2022, like very beautiful, beautifully painful catalyst of furthering of my healing and awakening. That was definitely like with that previous guy, not so much because the heart wasn't as open, but with this second guy, the twin flame 2022, my heart definitely got cracked open. So that's where a lot of healing was taking place for a long time until even recently. And now this very recent experience where same thing happened, and now because the heart already got opened, there was already an opening and stuff, it was so much easier, and there is so much more flooding that's coming through. And this is where quickly I want to tie it up to this Pluto in Aquarius topic, which, like I said, you cannot really comprehend, not just you, me, all of us cannot really comprehend the topic of Pluto in Aquarius at this stage. It is impossible because, as we know, Aquarius is going beyond. As we know, Uranus is expect the unexpected, the great awakening at the Tower moment. And as we know, Uranus is moving into Gemini next year for 5 minutes, but fully in 2026 for the next, 8-9 years. So we don't really know. But the one thing that's been becoming very clear to me, and thanks to resources, which I briefly touched up on in my astrological forecast, that I had to my hand for some time, or I already gone through, but it just wasn't clicking, just like with this forgiveness or the gratitude. When it's not clicking, it's not clicking. Your soul is not ready. Your soul is ready when it's ready. And this is why it's so counterproductive and useless to compare yourself to anyone else, because your journey is unique. It's unique, and your soul knows the perfect time. There is the thing called divine timing, and there is a reason for it. So how I tied up all of that I just said to this age of Aquarius, which I already mentioned briefly in the previous video, is this concept of unconditional love, which is not about this rom-com love. It's not about the Hallmark cards love. It is the love which is based on balance and harmony and peace and justice, which again came to my awareness recently thanks to a generosity of a client who shared a channeled material with me. The love that we are experiencing at the moment, which is this very emotionally charged, so much emotion and stuff, it's kind of like this Pisces age love, you know, that especially for me, and again, I need to be aware not to be projecting my experience onto everyone else, that it, you know, love means sacrifice, it means suffering, it means pain, it's all these like very extreme emotions, you know, one way or another. You are either in heaven or you are in a hell, right? That is not Aquarian age, you know, the unconditional love, which people who have children, mothers, but I'm sure fathers too, experience when you know that your child is hurting, when you know that your child will have to go through life and learn the hard way, and you cannot protect the child because it needs to have its own journey, it needs to have its own learning opportunities, right? That is unconditional love, you know. Not obviously there are all sorts of relationships between parents and children, and whatever dynamics there are with regards to contract and stuff. Some can be very toxic, but you know, when we just look at that healthier version of parenting and a child, when the parents understand there will be a point when you need to allow the child to flee the nest and learn how to fly, and through that process the child will make a lot of mistakes, and it will be in pain, it will hurt, you know, and it will hurt you as a mother, it will hurt that person who is the father, you know, if they are in a picture and stuff, because they don't want their little girl to be abused by some guy, you know, or beaten or something or whatever. And yeah, so that's what I mean. So this is the unconditional love, you know, where we respect the other person's free will. And this is something that I've been learning thanks to this person I met recently, this understanding that, well, you know, we say we are in love, but there is always an agenda, you know, that, oh yeah, but I want something out of this, right? You know, and sometimes we want something out of that, even if it's or not always in the best interest of the other person. Like, I want what I want and I want it now, you know, and obviously through the conditioning and programming and you know, the societal projections and stuff, we think, oh, if I look this way, if I lose that weight, if I do this, you know, like enhancements on my body or something or whatever, then I'm gonna get the guy, you know, and all this bullshit, you know, that you have through this you know, the tricks, you know, the books that were written about, you know, how should you be dating and how should you be. And I'm not saying it's all, I mean, I don't know, this is again where, you know, you have to be your own guide and use your own discernment. To me, this is all very manipulative. Yes, it might work, you know, it might work for the 3D experience, you know, like you might get the guy to propose if you do all these ABCD steps that some people will tell you to follow, right? Because of this manipulation and stuff. But this is not the 5D relationships we're talking about, right? These so sacred relationships that are here to co-create the new earth, right? Which are not based on drama and manipulation and projection and unhealed wounding and stuff. You know, these are relationships where two people come together, you know, healed, not fully healed, because obviously it's a work in progress the whole life, right? But, you know, when people come and they no longer hold these agendas against one another, you know, based on the lower chakras, which is like, well, I need to, you know, like, I need you to give me all of this to survive. And, you know, and obviously the sexual compatibility and stuff, and, you know, and then the power struggles and all this kind of stuff, you know, we moving beyond that, you know, we moving beyond that. And this unconditional love, which like I've been learning around, you know, about recently, because, you know, understanding that, yes, every single time that I said I loved someone, yes, there was an agenda. There was like, I want something out of this, you know, and I want this person to give me what I don't have, what I feel I can't give to myself and stuff, which is always just going to put us, me in this case, because I'm talking about my experience, in the place of disempowerment, right? And this is the Piscean age relationships, that someone is always in charge, somebody always has more control. And this is not the way of the future. This is not how it's gonna be. You know, these Aquarian age relationships are based on equality. People come together as equals, you know. So anyway, I don't have the answers. Like I said, I'm just trying to figure it out all by myself. well, not all by myself. I'm trying to figure it out by myself with a lot of help, of spirit guides and people obviously that are ahead of me on their journey, and put materials out there that I have the choice to either agree or disagree with. And this is where, again, we use our discernment and our own guidance system. But yes, the relationships are going to change, and I'm definitely experiencing, especially through this last interaction with this person that I had, is showing me exactly what is still wounded and unhealed in myself, that is preventing me from connecting with someone else in a romantic way, in a very different way. And this person, it's it's on that journey to connect with someone in that way. So that's what I mean. And this is, where it is not easy, because also the other aspect of this unconditional love, this Aquarian love, I guess, it's about the letting go, about that acceptance and non-attachment, that yes, like we come together with people with whom we are the right soul match with, not on that level that, I need to trigger you and I need to abuse you and stuff, so I show you what you need to heal and stuff like that, but in this way that we can co-create together this different relational paradigm, this different way of being, this different way of living on this planet, this different world, right? So this is what I mean, so it is not easy at all, because there is, like I keep mentioning all the time, that which is in manifested physical reality is what was, including the relationships. So now suddenly somebody coming and saying that, well, this is all going to change and the relationships are not going to be the same and people are not going to be connected in the same way. Yeah, they're going to love each other. Of course they will, but it's going to be in a different way, right? But we don't know what that even means, because for most of us, this is not something we experience. So that's what I mean. So I just wanted to share this process and connect it with the current energies, even though majority of this video is obviously about me, making it about myself and owning it. Because I personally am ready to leave this story behind, the story of what was, because it's not who I am. It's not who I am, and it's not who I wish to be going forward. I'm done with it. And this is the gift of the Pluto on 29 degrees and 59 minutes of Capricorn. But it means taking responsibility for creating that other. And for that to be created, we need to become aware and clear, heal, and release that which is preventing us from manifesting it. So again, to be continued, guys, because this is a huge topic. And of course, relationships are one of the three main subjects everybody is interested in, alongside with health and money. This is the top three: relationships, health, and money. So there is a lot to talk about. But I really feel this Scorpio season, and especially this full moon in Taurus in conjunction with Uranus, really shook us up. When it comes to our sense of self-worth, what we value, what matters to us, what do we want. And then we know that between Taurus and Libra, there is an inconjunction. What you want might not exactly be what the other person wants. And this is where, this, I guess, unconditional love definition comes in, which is still just a definition, because for most of us, this is not embodied. This is just a theory. To understand and to let go of the attachment, what exactly that should be, and especially if it involves someone else, what exactly that should be for the other person. Oh, I know what's best for you, let me tell you. But actually, I don't know anything about anybody else. I only know my own story, and even that is inaccurate. So that's what I mean. So it's having that, making that choice to trust that the soul is guiding us exactly where we're meant to go, and the right people will join us on our journey, and release this attachment and expectation, and release that which we say that we love. Because if we love it, then we let it go, and if it does come back, then I guess then it's meant to be. If it doesn't, then it was never meant to be, that it was just another teacher, just another learning curve. So anyway, guys, this is going to be probably a long video because I have some decks to pull from and we are already at 53 minutes. But this was a very important confession for me to make with this moon trine in my south node and Pluto on 29 degrees 59 minutes, because I do not wish to take this with me into the Pluto in Aquarius. So this is a choice that everybody has an opportunity to make. And yeah, and then we have to be disciplined and dedicate ourselves to creating that order that we wish to experience, which is going to be work in progress and trial and error. So okay, let's see. This is a deck that I felt very strongly guided towards, the Oracle of Portals. So I'm going to see what it wants to say, because this deck has been on my mind all morning. So Oracle of Portals, what do you want to share with regards to the energies that we are experiencing at the moment and will be experiencing in a few hours when Pluto moves into the sign of Aquarius? What is the guidance, please, Spirit? Okay, we have 2 cards. Oh, again, the imagination. We had that one before. And the magic. Look at that portal. Look at that portal that we're stepping into. Imagination and magic. And interestingly, yeah, this is the 20. Again, the 2, the partnership. And 41, which is the change. Yeah, look at that beautiful portal that we are precipice of entering into. And again, the person is in white, the purity. And then at the bottom, birth. Number 1. Yeah, look, we birth in the new earth together with Mother Gaia. Look, there's the being, the fairy underneath. Yeah, the birth and the rainbows. Yeah, it's not gonna be just all rainbows and butterflies. I'm not being delusional over here, but this is what we are birthing. This is the image, right? Have the imagination, connect with your creation. Yeah, there is that butterfly. We had this card on the 1111 at portal. I used this deck that was exactly the same card that came out. And now we have this beautiful, believe in magic, everything is possible, you know, and that's what I mean. I really personally don't feel in my heart, I don't believe that we have to, like, oh, it's just gonna be so hard, you know, all this stuff that we have to transmute, you know, oh my God, like this life, past lives, ancestors, it's so much. I don't think it has to be. I really don't believe that, because everything is moving so quickly, and I really feel that the main things, actually the most important thing you have to do is just to show up, just to have the willingness, the intention, the willingness, awareness, and to be present with it. You know, whether it's the emotion, whether it's the memory, whether it's whatever it is, you know, just to be present in this current moment, to birth the new. So I think that's just amazing, you know, and that's the card I'm actually going to read. I'm not going to read all the cards because I don't want to make this even crazily longer video, but I'm going to read this birth. By planting a seed and tending to it, you have opened up a portal, which is the magic portal, right? This one. A portal that brings something new into the world. This might be a new project, condition, relationship, or simply a current of energy that will fill you with fresh new ideas and opportunities. It's almost certain that you know exactly what is being born in your life. And if you don't, the first possibility that comes to mind is probably it. Consider the transcendent beauty of a newborn animal or a seedling as it first speaks about the soil. While baby plants and animals have been in this world only briefly, they have not simply appeared out of nowhere. They have been becoming hidden in the darkness of the earth, an egg or the womb. And then miraculously, just like the magic, right? They move out of the unseen and into the seen. Their unique essence is crystallized and bathed in light. They become ever after a part of the manifest world. Such is this is such a moment of birth. Something that has been becoming is now about to be. How can you help it thrive? Like anything that has just been born, whatever is making its appearance in your life must be thoroughly adored, nourished, and cared for. While parents tend to love their children throughout their lives, there is something singular about the time they spend with their newborns. In the same way, treasure every moment of this newly arriving essence. Attend to it lovingly and give it everything it needs. If it's a project, begin it or bring it closer to being finished. If it's a relationship, put yourself out there to initiate contact or move to a new level of closeness. If it's a condition, take steps to nurture it or bring it into being. Set clear intentions for this new arrival. What do you want to experience with regards to it? What are your most positive possible visions for it? Write these intentions in your journal, being sure to phrase them in the present tense as if already true. Then close your eyes and imagine that they are in fact true. This is a form of magic, right? Magic. Form of magic that involves transcending time and attuning to the frequency of what you desire. Feel your heart opening with joy like a flower in sunlight. Finish by calling on the divine in a way that feels powerful for you and feeling immense gratitude for the new blessings for the new blessing itself, as well as all your wonderful intentions for it manifested. You see, I can't read, so I'm probably not meant to read too much from a booklet, but yes, that's what's coming through. And the spirit is nudging me because I know potentially some people might watch this and get upset because I focus this predominantly on a romantic relationship and what am I learning through an experience through a romantic relationship or a man in my case. But, I need to widen this spectrum and bring into, my awareness, consciousness, and share that this is not just romantic relationship. This is any relationship. These soulmate relationships are relationship with any, your friends, your colleagues, your family, whoever. So, so of course, I do have immense gratitude for the people who are not just the men in my life, but everyone that played a role in my life, including very special friends that are helping me to co-create this new life or holding a space for me or being the teachers that I need at this present moment of in my life. So I wanted to bring it out there because I can feel certain people potentially getting upset because I didn't widen the spectrum of my focus. So I want to put it out there because, of course, this extends to everyone who played and plays an important role in my life. But particularly right now, I'm very deeply processing the romantic relationship dynamic because this is what I'm processing right now. So this is why I focus this conversation on that topic. But of course, it extends to other relationships in our life, not just the one with your partner or dream partner. Okay, now we're going to pull from, actually I reached for this one, so I'm gonna go for this one, the mystical shaman. Last time I used the shaman's dream. I couldn't decide which one to use, but for whatever reason, the shaman's dream wanted to speak last time, so I'm going to use the mystical shaman this time. This is always a very powerful deck, so let's see what comes through after the message from the portal. So mystical shaman, what is your message for us with regards to Pluto entering Aquarius? Okay, stand still. Number 57. Look, again, we are in the portal. There is all this light. All this light that this person is embracing, absorbing, the person also from the crown chakra, there is a light, all this orange sacral chakra, the yellow, the solar plexus, and the white crown chakra, but being grounded, stand still. Yeah, because Pluto moves very slowly, we will not see everything changing tomorrow, right? And probably there'll be more of the Piscean Age after effects coming out first before they clear and before we'll see more of the Aquarian Age manifestation. But yeah, right now is the standstill. And again, is 57 is the number, 52 is the number 7, which is Neptune. And it's also about the learning, and it's also the Chariot, which is the Cancer card. the identity. Yeah, we are on a standstill because right now we don't know who we becoming. You know, Mars had not yet gone retrograde. So I feel by April you will have a little bit more clarity. And at the bottom is the lower world. Yeah, lower world 31, number 4. So this is, I think, the underworld and also our subconscious world. Yeah, standstill because we need to deal with the unseen, you know, with the dense that needs to be transmuted, the shadows. And they were very highly and deeply illuminated throughout the Scorpio season, at least for me, but I'm sure that I'm not unique in this experience. So yeah, a lot of stuff came up. Okay, this has fairly short descriptions, so I'm going to read them because mystical shaman is special. I mean, they're all special. Okay, so we start with the yogi over here. The essence, when standstill appears, it is a symbol of pausing, the act of observation and breathing space. It represents the benefit of temporary non-action as well as what happens when one is stuck. The initiation, the word has been coming up a lot through my own readings, but also other people's. When things seem to stall or stagnate, or when you feel stuck, this symbol appears as a reminder that constant action isn't going to get you where you want to go. Perhaps it's time to gather more information or just wait until the universe makes the next move. No matter what, this moment is a beautiful gift orchestrated in your favor. Enjoy it. Let the universe bring all the parts together for the highest good. Go and play, recharge, and take the focus of whatever has stalled. Life will get busy again for you sooner than you think. The medicine. Time to get out of analysis paralysis. Standstill invites you to turn within, breathe, and recognize this is the condition of the moment. It allows you the opportunity to bear witness to whatever is going on before moment resumes. This is also an opportunity to abort a project or exit before damage. And it may also be time to relieve you of an unnecessary burden that you took on without considering the cost, which one of it is depends on you stopping, taking a deep breath, quieting your mind, and removing all your distractions. Then you can make your next move in the grounded, relaxed, detached way. When something doesn't go the way you think it should, remember the following: what is yours cannot be taken away. Yeah. You know, we are still in the Scorpio season. You know, sun is going to be on 29 degrees tomorrow. So yeah, Sagittarius season hasn't happened just yet. And then we have this lower worlds 31, which is the number 4. That is the stability, Saturn. Yeah, let's see. 31. The essence, the lower world holds the hidden treasures of humanity. It is a place of rich and fruitful darkness where we can find the disowned parts of ourselves and the abandoned aspects of our psyches. The lower world is a place of our ancestors where we discover the gifts and lessons from the past. It is the realm of the collective unconscious. Here we can meet our demons and transform them into pure energy, our source of personal power. The initiation is time to unearth your hidden treasures. Do not make yourself small in order for others to like or accept you. Bring out the gems and precious stones that you have kept inside your heart, hidden even from yourself. It's time to honor your past and recast your life as a heroic quest. As you journey into the lower world, you will be offered all the gifts of your ancestors, their struggles, the way they hurt, the way they lived, and the way they died will become blessings. The medicine. Are you one of those people who do not like to face the past? Now your past is calling to be acknowledged, to be heard, and to be embraced. The only way to become unstuck is to honor everything that has transpired in your life, reflect on the lessons learned, and move on. If you bear witness to your past and learn its lessons, it will stop haunting you. As you embrace its gift, it will become a missing part of your soul. This is the soul recall. You know, in order for us to become whole again, we need to call our energy back, the aspects of ourselves we lost or our ancestors lost. So this is what I mean, you know, and this is why I feel like I'm acknowledging what happened in my life. I'm aware of it, but I no longer allow it to define me because it's not who I am, you know. I am willing to let it go, but in order for me to let it go, from my personal experience, I need to know what it is that I went through and why, and understand the lessons and integrate them. And this is the same with the ancestors, you know, understanding the sacrifice, you know, and the blessings that came from it, just like in this lifetime, you know, in this your personal life, everything that you've gone through, all the mistakes you've gone, all the sacrifices, all the things that you're not proud of. And there are a lot of things I've done I'm not proud of, and I wish I didn't do, but you know, they were part of my learning. They got me where I am now. I wouldn't be the person I am now. I wouldn't be able to do the work I do now would I have not had any of this experience. I wouldn't be able to relate to people. I wouldn't understand. So yeah, so this is perfect, you know. It's the diving into the unconscious, into the past, retrieving the aspects of ourselves that we didn't want to be aware of, and for that we need to be still, you know. And I've noticed since I've been here, I'm meditating 2-3 times a day. I'm not no longer interacting with people, friends, situations, videos, nothing in the evening. I'm just focusing on my inner work. So anyway, Quantum Oracle, Sandra and Taylor. Let's see about this quantum leap that we are experiencing right now. What is the message, please? Thank you, Spirit. The quantum leap. What quantum leap is humanity experiencing at the moment? Okay. Courage. Courage. Yeah. We are being invited to embody courage to face whatever it is that we need to face. Oh my God, you know, when I was shuffling these cards, every single time I looked, this card was there. Every single time. And is the front page girl of the deck. Transformation. Cycle 5. Change. And this one is the energy 1. Have the courage to transform. Look at the journey that's ahead of you, but you have what you need. You have all the tools. Yeah, we have the armor. We have the armor of God, the spiritual protection, you know. I don't know all the things, but you know, there is the sword, there is, you know, all of it. And then look, we are entering into the magical forests, you know, like, and it's the green, you know, energy. Yeah, the energy of courage is on your side, you know. Mars is in Leo, just conjuncted my descendant. Yeah, Mars is in Leo, you know, courage to transform, you know. And again, look, the bridge, to bridge the bridge into this quantum field. You can see the earth, but it's all these lights, you know, very Aquarian age. And yeah, we can see, you know, the destruction of the past and the future are connected with the present moment through which we are transforming. It was 1-11-29, 1-11-11 as I said that. Yes. I'm going to read the cycle 5, transformation. I feel the energy is quite self-explanatory, even though I'm sure that Sandra and Taylor would have more to say about that. But yeah, I feel that the transformation is the message, because this card, seriously, I can't even tell you how many times I saw it when I was shuffling the deck. So I really feel that this is the card that we need to talk about. Okay, I need to pause. Okay, I didn't want you to make you wait, but actually it's the very last card of the deck. So yeah, this card really wants to speak. Significant transformation upright. This card shows a woman getting ready to cross a bridge and move into a new light-filled adventure. That's been coming up in the past reading. In a rolled up scroll. Yeah, you can see she holds it there. Rolled up scroll. She carries all the wisdom she needs to move forward. So the courage and the wisdom. This fortuitous, I don't know how to pronounce that word, card reveals a time of great inner and possibly outer transformation. Transition. You are now in a place where you are capable of transforming your old life into something brand new. Unhealthy patterns of thought and behavior are now ready to shift into a much higher resonance of peaceful, non-judgmental energy. Unconditional love of Aquarian age. Yeah, the balance, the justice, the fairness, equality. For some people, this is no less than an opportunity to reinvent themselves. As a result, this card is putting you on a notice that you are a powerful manifester. Your inner changes now will reap phenomenal results in the near and distant future. So spend some time going inward, consciously choosing optimism, trust, and self-love. As you make these changes, you will see your outer life transform as well. Perhaps a new relationship or a bigger and better career move is on a horizon. Visualize these great outer results as you continue to work on your inner transition of consciousness and vibration. When you do, you will find this cycle moving on to the next great expansion. Affirmation: I am capable of great inner change. I transform my life by transforming my thoughts and perceptions. I am always free to choose. If this doesn't describe the Jupiter-Mercury mutual reception triple opposition, I don't know what does. So here we got it. Yeah, there is the confirmation. This is why the deck wanted to speak, because of that one card. And it's not just transforming careers and relationships, it's transforming everything. That's it. You know, when you change, the world around you has to change. That the world outside of us is changing. We have to change. You know, the Gaia already ascended. It's already ascending. It's already all happened. Okay, you know, this is just gonna be a long video. I'm sorry, guys. You know, you just watch it for how long it's resonating with you. But I do want to pull from the Earth Warrior Oracle from Alana Fairchild, which has the longest descriptions, but it's always 100% accurate. And I did receive a confirmation from my previous reading in my previous video about this deck, so I do want to use it, but it does have a longer description, so bear with me. Okay, Spirit, just one card, please, from this deck. We don't have time to read two. Just one card, please. Whatever card it is that really wants to speak with regards to Pluto moving into Aquarius. Okay, there are a bunch of them that wanted to jump. Just one card, Spirit, please. What is the guidance? Okay. Intikana, child of the light. Oh my God, I'm getting goosebumps. Look at that. Number 33, the heart-centered consciousness, the Christ consciousness. Look at the being. It's like a star, right? Naked transformation, you know, the complete death and rebirth, all these lunar cycles that, you know, take us to this full awareness, you know, the full moon, illumination, the awakening of humanity, reaching for the stars. This is so beautiful. And I'm just going to look at the bottom, but I'm not going to read the description. Anka, king of Red Hawk tribe. Yeah, I feel this is again connection to the ancestors. And again, we have the owl, the wisdom of the ancestors. Yeah, that was with the shaman in the past read. But I am going to, oh, what number was it? 39, number 12. Hangman. Yeah, a lot of hangman coming up recently as well, which is all about the enlightenment, right? But yes, let's read this one, because this is, I mean, the cards are speaking today, just like we asked them to. Number 33, Christ consciousness, heart-centered consciousness. Let's see. Intikana, child of the light. There is a divine light that does not cast a shadow, nor does it cast judgment, even though it reveals truth, a truth that is sometimes hard to acknowledge and requires that we change our ways. True divine light is healing, it is unifying, it brings hope and illuminates the way. Other sorts of light exist on this planet that are not so pure, not so helpful. Those sorts of light may appear stunningly bright, yet in effect create separation and increase ego. You can recognize genuine divine presence by how dazzling it might appear at first, but by what... Not by how dazzling it might appear at first, but by what your devotion to the divine light evokes in your heart and in your world. In reading, trust your feeling over appearances, move away from influences that create fear, negativity, or doubt in you. Reach out for what uplifts your heart. Spiritual protection is being offered. Refuse to be dazzled by ego masquerading as something special. Through your prayers and efforts, spiritual light has been accumulating on the inner planes. Even though you might not sense that consciously as yet, there will be an intersection of events and circumstances in your physical world through which that light shall pour forth and manifest itself as grace. Continue with your spiritual devotion. There is something truly good to come from it. Spiritual guidance. In the Incan tradition, Inti is the physical sun and the spiritual presence inherent in the sun's life-giving energy. Intikana is the being who is one with Inti, a child of the sun. In the esoteric mystery school, solar child and solar angels are termed for the soul. The deeper aspect of us is connected to the spiritual light. This oracle brings you understanding that there is a new depth of soul connection opening up to you. We enter such a sacred process through a challenge known as in spiritual traditions as initiation. I mean, seriously, when we are faced with a deep unknowing, which is what happens when we are growing spiritually and moving through a spiritual initiation, we have outgrown what our minds are capable of providing. We need more knowledge, more wisdom, more light, so that we can find our way through the darkness of initiation and into the blessings of new life waiting on the other side of the process. When we turn our attention to the soul, instead of applying logic and intellect to figure out yet another doomed plan to conquer the irrepressible evolution inherent in the spiritual path, we finally gain comfort. Hope is a quality of the soul. It allows us to bear the uncertainty when, according to the greater wisdom, there is something that we cannot know the answer to, at least for now. Hope gives us patience so that we can learn how to feel our soul connection more deeply and grow into the wisdom of the answers we need. We stop fumbling about in the library of the intellect and instead seek out the answers from the source that can provide it, which is the illuminated temple of your own soul. Initiation often involves an element of the unexpected. We typically feel unprepared for it, even though at the soul level we have been working towards it for a long time. It's happening, however, when we are actually ready for it. Such spiritual testing is intimidating to the ego, but the soul knows how to move through the process. Trust your inner self and trust in the light and the unconditionally supportive assistance that the universe will lend to your purpose. Then you can be fearless, impervious, and to manipulation and remain steady and faithful in the face of challenge. The solar festival of Inti was a celebration of new life. The birth. New life, which was held at the start of a new planting season. It is realistic to cultivate hope and cheerfulness, both of which nurture the heart, especially during initiation. This oracle foretells of a positive conclusion to any initiation of soul. If you or a loved one have been plagued by dark and depressing thoughts, this oracle brings a spiritual intervention of joyful light. Open up to the joyful light of love and peace to fill your heart and your home. You have the power to call this in because you are acknowledged as a child of the light. Rest in a divine light within, imagining what you can peer into your soul and be warmed by the light and life of the inner sun that shines within your soul, which is the true light of Great Spirit. From the place of inner peace, luminous love, and safe refuge, you can proceed with boldness, patience, wisdom, and hope. The oracle asks you to cultivate a sense of self-worth and acknowledge the goodness within you without needing to be perfect. You don't just have light within you, you are the light. Remember, shine, we need you. This is beautiful. And I'm just going to read the brief description for the Anka 39, the one that reminds me of the ancestors, just the first paragraph. So we get the complete message. That's this one. Okay. Anka, king of the Red Hawk tribe On the wings of red-tailed hawk, a divine message comes. Your spiritual maturity has evolved into genuine power and discernment. You have earned your stripes. Acknowledgement is granted. Trust yourself and your destiny. You are ready. Trust in your sense of timing, which is excellent and inspired. Allow the divine to support you as you hover until the moment comes for you to fearlessly plunge into your forthcoming adventure. It is all the same messages, guys, no matter what deck we use. We are being initiated into this new path, which is an adventure for the soul, even though the human doesn't feel that way, like, thanks, you know. Okay, final confirmations and messages from the Psychic Tarot, which I'm not gonna read descriptions, just figure it out by myself, and then we close. Okay, what is the final message from the Psychic Tarot, please? Okay, yep, one flew out. Patience and planning, the Seven of Pentacles. Yep, we are investing into a bright future. Look at all that light, again, all the sun, you know, we creating a new earth. We creating a new life, but it will take time. It will take time. So have a patience with yourself and enjoy the process. And yeah, at the bottom is shadow. Yeah, shadow, because we need to deal with the past first. And the 20, this is judgment. Yes, judgment. Pluto, the transformation, and suffering in silence, letting go of these thoughts that are not serving us anymore, the nightmares. And then partnership and alliances. You are not alone. We're doing this together. And yeah, spiritual union, the higher self and the human self coming together. Perfect. Yeah, exactly. And it's 6 cards all together. This is perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Creating foundation for the new future, but it will take time because we need to deal with the shadows of the humanity, the aspects we didn't want to see, which is also a confirmation of this. Where is it? This one, lower world, same thing. The unconscious of humanity. Initiation, the judgment card. We are all being initiated. And we are mature enough, obviously, to let go of these thoughts, you know. 9 of Swords, this is 9 of Swords. You don't have to do it alone. This is 3 of Wands, you know. We are here to do it together in partnership with the spirit. Perfect. All right, guys, you know, my camera just fell, so the spirit is saying it's time to end. So that's it, 1 hour, 26 minutes. Okay, I would like to close this session, my own therapy. Thank you, everyone, if you're still listening. Thank you, all my spirit guides, higher self. Thank you, Ascended Masters, my ancestors, Starseed family. Thank you, everyone that was present, angelic team. Everyone that was present for this session. Thank you, Kali, for holding a space for me and giving me the courage. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And yeah, I do hope that there was something of a value in this message for you. And yeah, let's welcome Pluto in the sign of Aquarius with open heart, because it's here to serve us. It's here to support us on our evolutionary journey. Much love, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and bye for now.